Week 1 is in the books, which means for the very first time, it's time for our weekly recap show in the Seahawks franchise. Let's get right into it. Thursday night saw the Lions head into Arrowhead Stadium to play Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams put up a lot of offense yardage-wise, but it was Mahomes and his five touchdown passes that led the way in a huge win on opening night by the Chiefs. Exactly the way you want to start the season with a 38-13 win. Cornell Powell caught 3 of Mahomes' 5 touchdown passes. On to the first Sunday game as the NFC South kicks off the season with a divisional matchup as this year's number 1 overall pick, Bryce Young, leads the Panthers in his NFL debut against another young quarterback with a few strong offensive weapons in Desmond Ridder and the Falcons. Ridder and Pitts hook up for 2 touchdowns. The Panthers do get a huge rushing day from Miles Sanders, but it's not enough as a late field goal from Younghoe Koo gives Atlanta the space they need to win 24-19. Bryce Young's NFL debut didn't go as planned, but he was sacked 6 times and only threw for 185 yards with no touchdowns. As Drew Carey used to say, Cleveland rocks. They're hoping to start off rocking the AFC North as division play begins. The Browns welcome Joe Burrow and the Bengals to town. Cincinnati uses big second and fourth quarters, where they scored 17 and 13 points respectively, to go along with 485 total yards of offense to start the season on a high note, 33-21. Joe Burrow had a monster day, completing 84% of his passes for 443 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Colts are excited as they look to have their quarterback of the future in Anthony Richardson. The home fans give him a warm reception as they open the season against the NFC North foe, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Richardson doesn't have to do a whole lot, and this is a running game that really shines. Jonathan Taylor runs for 141 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Colts dominate the Jags 37-15. The Tampa Toms look to start a new era in a life without Brady, so I guess we go back to calling them the Bucs, huh? They open the season on the road in the Dome as they face the Minnesota Vikings. A low-scoring defensive game, and you know what they say. In a one-point ball game, Baker may throw a touchdown pass to Chris Godwin. The Bucs end up getting the win over the Vikings 16-8. A cross-conference matchup is next, as we're almost through the 1 p.m. games. The Titans travel to New Orleans to face the Saints in Derek Carr's debut as a Saint. These teams test each other on opening day. In a 1-point game with the Saints up, Derek Carr throws a pass to Chris Olave, who does the rest with the extra effort to get it into the end zone. It's 17-9, and despite the Titans scoring again, it wouldn't be enough as they fall short, losing 17-15. No Alvin Kamara due to his suspension, but the Saints don't miss it, thanks to Jamal Williams going over 100 yards on the ground. Great start for the Saints. Is Brock Purdy the answer? Is Kenny Pickett the answer? Both of these teams have quarterback questions as the 49ers head into Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. Pittsburgh's defense was the star of the day. Sure, Christian McCaffrey ran for 126 yards, but they didn't allow him to take over. Or Brock Purdy for that matter. He didn't even crack 100 passing yards. The Steelers, on the back of their defense, get the win in the opener, 18-10. In the final 1 p.m. game, it's an NFC conference game between the Cardinals and the Commanders. Sam Howell doesn't get the start for the Commanders, instead it's Jacoby Brissett, and you could say his day was 50-50. He threw 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions, one of them which was returned for a touchdown by Rashad Fenton. Both sides of the ball for Arizona made the final look ugly as the Cardinals win 46-28. Sources have confirmed that Sam Howell will be starting against the Broncos in Week 2, so he'll get a chance to show what he can do. The first of the 425 games is a renewal of an old NFC rivalry with a twist. The Packers face the Bears with no Aaron Rodgers to lead them this season. Can Jordan Love be the guy? Love did not have a great day, though he was efficient. Instead, it was Aaron Jones who ran all over the Bears defense to the tune of 159 yards and a score. The Packers defense forced 2 turnovers as well and would end up winning this one 23-14, so the post-Aaron Rodgers era gets off on the right foot. The Broncos welcome the Raiders to town in the opener as they're looking to turn the page on a disastrous prior season and they're hoping Russell Wilson can look like the guy they thought they were going to get. Well, he certainly is on the right track after this game. 218 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 rushing, allowed Denver to make quick work of their Raiders, 33-16. The Bronco defense was a force too, causing 3 turnovers in the process. From the Midwest to the West Coast, it's time to take a trip to SoFi Stadium, where the Chargers play host to the Dolphins in Week 1. This one was not a game at all. The bus was getting warm while the Dolphins were still on it before entering the stadium even. Justin Herbert slings 4 touchdown passes, and Austin Eckler gets a score on the ground as well. There was more, but all you really need to know is the Chargers win big, 41-3. Swinging on back over to the East Coast, it's up to New England, where the Patriots start off the season with a game against the Eagles. Just like our last outcome, but the team that won was flipped. Jalen Hurts gave the Patriots defense fits all game long, especially through the air. 338 yards and 3 touchdown passes on a whopping 73% completion percentage, and the Eagles win handily, 40-12. In the final 4:25 game, we saw our Seahawks lose to the Rams on opening day, 31-10. Both sides of the ball struggled as our defense had a hard time stopping the pass, and the only touchdown for our Seahawks came from rookie running back Zach Charbonnet. The NFL debut of our head coach Keenan Steele did not go well at all, and hopefully things can turn around in Week 2, which we'll get to later on in the show. It doesn't get more prime time than the Sunday night game featuring an NFC East clash, as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys went into MetLife Stadium to face the New York Giants. This game really was worthy of the primetime slot. The Giants were up 9 with 19 seconds left in the game. Brandon Aubrey comes on to kick the game-winning field goal. He puts it up and through the uprights, good, as the Cowboys spoil the home opener for the Giants, winning 12-10. Daniel Jones was the only quarterback to throw a touchdown pass in the game to his tight end Daniel Bellinger. CeeDee Lamb was a busy man, catching 11 passes for 137 yards in the win. Finally, in the Monday night game, it was a showdown of faces of generations, as one of the future faces of the league, Josh Allen and his Bills, meet up with future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers as he takes the Jets onto the field for the first time after spending his entire career as a Green Bay Packer. Both QBs did what they do best: sling the ball all over the field. Rodgers threw a touchdown pass to Allen Lazard and Dalvin Cook, while Josh Allen's lone touchdown pass went to Stephon Diggs. The difference in this game was the defense. Rodgers was picked off 3 times, and those mistakes were critical, as the Bills were able to win the game behind a 13-point shutout fourth quarter performance, 27-17. For the first time, let's take a look at standings. Starting first in the NFC West, we'll work backwards here. Rams and Cardinals both winners in their opening day games, 1-0. 49ers and Seahawks both 0-1. In the NFC East, the Cowboys and Eagles both winners, 1-0. Giants and Commanders both 0-1. NFC South, Falcons and Bucks 1-0 respectively. Saints in there as well, also 1-0. Panthers the only team winners out of that division, 0-1. In the NFC North, Packers the only team winning a game in Week 1. Everybody else losers, 0-1. In the AFC now, starting with the West, Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs all 1-0. Raiders winless, 0-1. In the AFC East, Bills the only team to get a win in Week 1. Jets, Patriots, and Dolphins are all 0-1. Same story here in the AFC South. One team with the win, that's the Colts. Titans, Texans, and Jaguars are all 0-1. And finally, in the AFC North, 3 winless teams out of there. Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers all 1-0. Browns the only winless team at 0-1. Now it's time to see who won the Player of the Week awards for the first time in Week 1. Starting in the AFC, Patrick Mahomes gets the award this week. 305 passing yards and 5 touchdowns in the win. We'll get him that one. On the defensive side of the AFC, it's the Jets' left end, John Franklin Myers, everywhere he was in their opening day game. 8 tackles, 5 sacks, and a forced fumble in the process. On the NFC side, Jalen Hurts wins the award this week in Week 1. 4 combined touchdowns and 338 passing yards get him the award this week. And on the defensive side, Yannick Ngakoue, 5 tackles and 4 sacks get him the award in Week 1. Congratulations to all the players who won the award in Week 1. Let's take a look ahead to Week 2. In our next episode, our Seahawks are hoping to turn things around and get back on track as they head on the road to Ford Field to face the Detroit Lions. They'll have to improve on the passing game especially. Geno Smith can't have another 3-interception game like last week, and the defense has to be able to limit the passing game success. Both teams are 0-1 and coming off big losses. How do you think this game will go? Leave your predictions in the comments below. With that out of the way, there are other questions around the league heading into Week 2 as well. There's some NFC West play as the 49ers face the Rams. Two teams in our division with very different outcomes in Week 1. Can the Rams offense stay hot? And will the 49ers find their offense as those two teams meet for the first time? The AFC North rivalries pick up in Week 2 as well. The Ravens and Bengals face off as their young QBs do battle, and on Monday night, the Browns head into Pittsburgh for their AFC North Division game against the Steelers. How would the early AFC North race look after both of these games are over? We'll find out that and so much more, but thank you for joining us as the Week 2 recap show will cover those stories and more. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys as always, really. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you all. Leave a like. One like will one like will hopefully help Geno Smith throw some touchdown passes in the next video. So do that, and any thoughts you have, leave them down below in the comments. Keep it locked here for more Madden 24 Seahawks franchise and other sports related content. This will be my final video of the year. I'll be taking some time just to kind of get things ready and refresh for the next year. I know it's a rough year for me consistency wise, and I apologize for that, and I'll talk more about that in my year-end post soon. But remember, B team, keep on shining and keep on grinding. I will see you all next year.